Hello guys, welcome to the first video of 2026. Super excited for what this year has to come for this channel. Today we're going to be doing my December breakdown for my budget, from my income to my expenses to how much I saved and invested and everything in between that. So getting right into it here, we can see roughly how the numbers broke out for December. We can see that my income came in at 48.46 for the month. This just was mainly my income from my sales job, and I had a little bit of side hustle money, very minimal, almost nothing too significant. I spent $235 on groceries, $384 on fun. Now, this budget for fun includes any excursions I did while I traveled in Mexico. This is probably why you'll see my spending is very high for this month, greater than my income. It's because I went on a 10-day trip to Mexico. We had a blast. It was my vacation time. And then you might be wondering, oh, how can you go into a budget deficit for December? I have savings and then also my bank account. Usually I have some extra money that stays in the account. I knew in November that I was planning this trip, so I left some extra money to sit in that account just so I can afford any unforeseen expenses. Going next into it is my eating out. This month I spent $498.26 eating out. This is probably the most I've spent all 2025. That is because we ate out a lot, but I honestly do not regret a single dollar I spent in Mexico. It was a blast. I'm never going to have that experience again or have the chance to be as young with my friends traveling that country in that moment again. I think all the food was amazing. It was absolutely delicious. Same thing with anything regarding this trip, including the excursions, any drinking. We didn't drink much, or just traveling around the multiple cities was all amazing. I invested $234, about 235 into my business. Then from there, I invested $1,300 into my investments. This includes my Roth IRA contribution, my dollar cost averaging into a stock of my choice, $100 crypto, and an extra $500 deposit that I went to put in last month. I saved a total of $2,000. This is because for November, my transactions for my high yield savings account didn't go through until December. Hence, there was a double up for this month. Again, I had some extra money in my bank account just to cover off this because I already took into account based on last month's data. My rent was again $600 a month. Absolutely phenomenal. Cannot complain about anything. I spent $122 on gas. And then miscellaneous, this will include my travel ticket, some excursions, other things that occurred. Also bought gifts for my family, that type of thing. $1,004, right? So again, this was a really high spend month, as usually December is for most people, for vacations, gifts, all of those things. Looking back on the year, I know I just updated this. It says 13,000. That wasn't my income for December. I just input my dividends and options profits that I had for the year here in the month of December because I wanted it in this column for the year-to-date data, right? Which here we can see that it was still able to save slash invest about 50% of my income, which is beautiful. That's what I'm aiming for, if not even closer to 60. And then we can see that excluding what I'm going to be keeping, so my dividends, I just reinvest them back into the companies, and my options profits, same thing. I'll pay the taxes on that on my own side. I don't want to withdraw that money. Kind of feels like it takes away from the momentum that's been building in those accounts. So we can see from that around for the whole year down here in this chart that I was investing roughly 47% of my income and saving about 10%, right? And my next biggest expense category was business. And then after that, I spent a good amount on eating out, fun, and groceries. So overall, looking back on this month, here's a few takeaways that I think I want to improve on. One is definitely eating out less, ultimately to save money and just to eat healthier. I think this 2026, I want it to be a great year for me financially, mentally, and physically. Just so I gotta put better ingredients in my body. It's kind of like driving a car. The higher quality fuel you put, the less problems you'll have and less maintenance you'll have to do. And then along with that, I don't think I'll be spending as much on fun because January is pretty chill start of the month. There's not many holidays or really anything surprising coming up. My gas will probably be a little bit higher, and then I assume my groceries will probably be give or take around the same for the month. Just because I tend to shop at Costco, I'll bulk buy and meal prep my meals for the week. That way I don't have to think about it. It takes away from the stress. With all this being said, I have already started preparing for 2026. At the bottom, I copied a new sheet of the spreadsheet. I, however, am looking to make some changes to this just so I have more categories, so I have less things going into miscellaneous, but not over categorize everything because then I'll have too much to keep up with. So if there's any suggestions you have for my spreadsheet, leave a comment down below. I'd love to read those and incorporate some of those. Also, if you're interested in using the spreadsheet, I can leave a link in the description if anyone wants it. I'd love to hear any feedback that you guys might have. Let me know what you're looking forward to this year in terms of budgeting and saving. If there's any dream purchase you're saving for or any specific goals. As always, take care and make it a great day. Bye bye.